What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and, there's nothing really to talk about at all tonight. It's been a pretty quiet news day. Nothing to see here if you're a big fan of the Cats. Let's just talk about the game against the Bombers. It's been a big day. It's been a real big day. And look forward to discussing all that has come up today with you. Like I said, it's been a fairly big one when it comes to Cats news. We're going to talk about the big news around Geelong and concussion and a whole lot more in our little breaking news segment before we get into our match preview. The Cats and the Bombers, of course, to play on Saturday, which certainly has faded into obscurity a little bit. It's been far less relevant a topic of conversation today, given the big breaking news. We're going to go through some historical analysis between the Cats and the Bombers. We're going to talk about the remaining games this season before finals. We're going to go around the grounds. Of course, right now, the Dogs getting their asses absolutely handed to them by North Melbourne, and they were calling this a must-win game going into it. So, sucks to be them. We'll discuss some news, the other news of the week. There's been plenty of it as well. We'll get into some trivia. Well, we've got trivia in the show notes. I don't remember Ben putting anything in there. We do have some trivia. Good, we've got some trivia. Ben's introduced a segment called Yes or No, which is about as basic as it possibly comes. But it's some Q&A, yes or no sort of stuff for myself and all of you watching in the chat. We'll get into we'll get into the game of the week, and then your questions and comments, which, for those new to the show, are fueled by your super chats. So if you've got a topic that you want discussed, and of course, feel free to wait until we go through our news of the show anyway, because there's a lot to discuss. But if you've got something that you want answered, don't hesitate to utilize the super chat function. I haven't turned on the stuff at the bottom of the screen. I should have. $2.99 or higher super chats. Have your topics discussed later in the show. So if you've got those thoughts, if you've got those topics you want discussed, don't hesitate to drop a super chat in there. We might be a bit more deserving right now than the Geelong Football Club. So let's get into things here. Shout out to Tush, who says, can't wait for your 2009 premiership to be stripped, and we get Grind Myers for free. Premierships for nothing, Grind Myers for free. Anyway, let's get into our first story of the night. It is the big one. It is the one that has been discussed all day today. I've seen the Discord popping off about it. It was one that I was largely sitting in the dark on. Of course, this happens on the one day of the year where your boy is in a professional development meeting all day. No classes, no gaps in classes, no lunchtime breaks, none of that sort of stuff. I'm just in wall-to-wall meetings all day. And of course, that is the day that the news comes out that Geelong are the team responsible for a secret concussion deal that has blown up badly in our face in some ways. And in other ways, it hasn't blown up at all. No consequence for the Cats. Let's go through everything that has played out here. Of course, it began with a report in the Herald Sun this morning where the Cats weren't named, and then Sammy Edmund popped up on Twitter later in the morning, to out the Cats as a club who had basically penned an agreement with one of their players that said that in the event that this player sustained another concussion, because they had a history of it, that they would essentially not be liable. It was all at the player's risk, and that they were acknowledging that. And not gone down well. So let's get into it. Geelong has not been sanctioned, but the AFL has warned future agreements like the one they struck with a current player who has suffered multiple concussions, waiving some quote, some legal rights for future brain injuries sustained on the field must be approved first. Now, let's not go a step further. Must be approved first. Like the AFL is willing to entertain that. You stupid fuckers. That is so unbelievably dumb. Like, what Geelong did was stupid. It does seem like the AFL was unaware. The AFLPA was unaware. We'll get to those comments shortly. But then for them to go, hey, we're willing to just come and talk to us first. Dickheads. Absolute dickheads. Anyway, let's move on. Herald Sun chief writer Jay Clark on Thursday morning did a great job of dissuading all the people who think that he is bought out by the Geelong Football Club by reporting this one. He detailed his bombshell Code Sports report, which initially didn't identify the club or player to protect the player's identity and sources. Clark then revealed on Thursday afternoon that Geelong was the club who struck the agreement with the player 2 years ago. The League and Players Union released a statement on Thursday evening saying the waiver had been removed and any future arrangements would need to be approved by the AFL and AFLPA. As it stands, Geelong has not been penalised. Now, before I share my thoughts on this, and Brendan, I do see what you've got to say then. By the way, Brendan, I feel like it's the first time I've seen you in a while on one of our streams. Good to have you back, mate. Of course, shout out to George Stevens and delisted former Geelong rookies who never got a game. Go on, I'll let you shout out his name in the chat, mate. Anyway, the comment is, the health and safety of players is the highest priority for the AFL and AFLPA, the statement read. Like all contact sports, football carries a risk of injury, including concussion. Players are educated on their head trauma, including its risks. Sorry, by the way, that I don't sound great. I have been horrifically sick in the days leading up to today. I'm much better now, but I am nasally as shit right now, so apologies for just sounding congested and gross. No player is permitted to play following concussion unless they have been medically assessed and cleared to play in accordance with the AFL's concussion and return to play protocols. All players are also protected by statutory obligations in relation to health and safety, as well as the obligations agreed to through the CBA and a standard playing contract. In cases of serious injuries, decisions about a player returning to play or retire are made by the player with their families, their club, and qualified medical professionals. The AFL and AFLPA are aware of a complex and unique case in which a Geelong player was cleared as fit to play following an assessment by an AFL concussion panel. The player then signed a letter acknowledging the potential risk and sought to waive some potential future legal rights, which was not lodged with or approved by the AFL or AFLPA. So that is the important thing. It's something that a lot of us have been speculating throughout the day. And of course, this was left to fester for an eternity before the AFL and Geelong got out there. And I'll note, just slightly after the 6 p.m. news shows started to kick off. So they were hoping, I think, to slip this one through. They did not. But the big note here is it was not lodged with the AFL. They didn't receive it. So this was kept within the four walls of the Cats, almost, written on a napkin and tucked inside a drawer. And we can go, look, here's the napkin. Never going to hold up in a court of law if that player were to, and we'll talk about it, and I presume we'll lean into a little bit of speculation as to who we think this individual was. We'll talk all about it in due course. Anyway, so the statement continued. Geelong has advised the AFL today that the waiver in the letter will be removed, noting that the player continues to acknowledge potential risks. The AFL is satisfied that the letter was not used by Geelong to allow medically unfit player to return to play. So, I mean, I think we all knew that part of it because they would have to pass the concussion tests and protocols and go through the hoops that the AFL has in place. Which then makes it all the more weird that we've done something like this. If they're still acknowledging that, if they're still adhering to that, then why do we need to put the acknowledgement of risks? Is it because Max Rook is one of the ones that's leading the entire concussion thing right now, and so Geelong is trying to do whatever it can, in whatever small ways it can, to absolve itself of future legal issues? The simple thing is they don't need to do that, because as the AFL continues to tighten up its documentation, its processes, and improve what it's doing around head trauma, every club is just going to adhere to that. It is not Geelong's fault, or Hawthorn's fault, or Brisbane's fault, or the Bulldogs' fault, or North Melbourne's fault, or whatever the club happens to be. It's not their fault if a player then goes on to sustain prolonged things, because the clubs are just adhering to what the AFL has in place. It means that you don't need some extra fucking signed napkin with shit on it. It's just so dumb. Geelong is... where are we? The AFL and AFLPA will advise clubs that any proposed arrangements that impact on a player's legal rights and protections will be required to be notified to and approved by the AFL and AFLPA. Not that this was ever, of course. Anything involving your contract has to be signed off by the AFL. The AFL and AFLPA are aligned that no arrangements will be approved that seek to solely place the risks on players. Good. And then the Cats released their statement, just minutes later. In relation to media reporting today, Geelong Football Club acknowledges that the letter signed with one of its players went further than was intended and recognises the absence of the AFLPA in the process. The club, because they knew the AFLPA wouldn't approve it. The club will remove the waiver outlined in the letter, noting that the player continues to acknowledge potential risks. That's fine. You're continuing to play football, but you've passed your concussion protocols. That's fine. You can acknowledge that there's a risk. There's a risk for every player who steps on the field every week, that maybe you do your ACL and can never play again, that maybe you take a blow to the head and can never play again. These are all parts of the... there is a risk associated with every game of football you go and play. There is a risk for Brian Myers right now with every game he goes out there to play with a partially torn ACL. We know these things. We don't need that documented anywhere beyond the standard stuff. They were trying to give themselves an additional out for legal stuff in the future, I think. And sorry, chat, I know I'm largely ignoring you right now. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to fold all of your comments and thoughts in there. So yeah, this comment coming from Cats CEO Steve Hocking. At the time, the club was involved in extensive discussions with a player, their family, and representative in relation to... So their player manager was part of it. To that player's concussion history. Those discussions, including medical advice from the club's chief medical officer and the AFL concussion panel, were documented in a letter signed by the player. No direction was given requiring the player to medically retire. The club was not attempting to vary the terms of the AFL standard playing contract or attempting to avoid its responsibilities under health and safety laws. The club's focus throughout the process was providing care and support to the player, with the intention to give the player agency in the decision-making process around their own playing career. It doesn't work that way. If the AFL, the club, the medical panel say you can't play anymore, it's over. He or she, if it's the AFLW, don't have that agency. And if you just want to retire sooner because you got a head knock, fine. Fucking retire. But you don't get to say no if they say yes. So this is completely irrelevant and unnecessary. Unless they were trying to circumnavigate something. And I love defending this club, but I'm not defending them here. Where are we? The club always aims to ensure that players are provided with information to enable them to make informed decisions about their careers. They've done a good job of that, but they've overstepped the bounds here. The Geelong Football Club is committed to providing a safe and healthy work environment for all its players, including ongoing education about the risks of concussion in contact sport. It was reported... Now we're moving on. It was reported senior club executives sought board approval for the deal. Current AFL Commission Chair Craig Drummond was Geelong president when the deal was allegedly done. But obviously, he's now the head of the AFL Commission. SEN senior journalist Sam Edmund described the development as an added complexity for both the Geelong and the AFL. And this is what going back to now Jay Clark. We're bouncing all over the shop here. Well done, Fox Footy. Coherent article. A Victorian club has signed a secret deal with one of its players, which required them to accept all legal risks of any further head trauma they suffered on the field, Clark said in a video post to Code Sports. This is a current day player who has suffered multiple concussions, who signed an agreement which said they take it upon themselves the physical and legal risk of loss, damage, or injury arising from any more brain injuries, etc., etc. We don't need to keep going. It's now all getting very repetitive. Here is, though, Clause 7.3 of the standard playing contract. The AFL club shall provide a playing, training, and working environment which is, so far as reasonably practical, free from any risk to health, safety, and welfare for the player. No player shall be engaged by a club other than under the contract of service lodged with the AFL. The contract of service shall be in the form prescribed from time to time. There's no wiggle room to adjust that. So that's all of it. Look, there's a lot of thoughts here. There's a lot of additional comments, but that is the core news. So let's discuss. And shout out to those who are getting busy in the comments section right now. I've been anxious, and I put this in the Discord a couple of hours ago. Been a bit anxious about some non-Geelong supporters who might find their way into the stream tonight and be dead set arseholes in here. But so far, only the good rational stuff. Let's engage in a proper conversation about this. I'll begin because I've got the platform and the mic. Suck shit. So I'm okay with Geelong as far as what the AFL is concerned. I'm okay with Geelong not copping a consequence. I'm okay with, no loss of premiership points. I'm okay with no loss of draft picks. I'm okay with no loss of premierships, as I'm sure that lots of people out there will be calling for, because ultimately they've done nothing wrong. They've done something unethical. They've done something extremely unethical. And I think heads need to roll for that. And we don't know who's on this panel. I think the comments that have been made by the AFL and Geelong are still very, very vague, and I think don't address a lot of the big questions like who rubber stamped this? Who let this go through? Who was on this panel? And Geelong has, for a long time, kept a lot of things very much obscured. We don't know who the people behind the curtain are. We don't know who's making a lot of the big decisions. Chris Scott even outlines it in a lot of his press conferences. He's like, oh, that's not a me decision. Hey, Mac, any chance you're able to provide clarity? And for me, like, I love this guy. But Andrew Mackey or whoever else that was the head of this panel that made the decision needs to be in the gun here. And not because, like, again, we haven't broken any rules at the end of the day. We've got a very stupid, and again, I'm just going to continue to link into the serviette sort of signed serviette there, signed napkin. Like, we've done something stupid in that regard, but we haven't actually broken any rules. We haven't circumnavigated the concussion protocols. We haven't. There's nothing that's actually illegal that is far in the sense of the game rules that we've done here. But we have done something that's very unethical and is very much wrong. Very wrong, and it's very much wronging a player. We have tried to essentially go, mate, if your head gets fucked in the future and I don't know, you make a poor decision, and I don't want to entertain this, unfortunately, like some of the things that people do due to CTE and those sort of things links into a personal thing that's played out in the last week or so that I don't particularly want to talk about right now. It's my own personal life stuff and people around me stuff. But it leads people to do dumb things, and we absolve ourselves of any and all responsibility is basically what the club is trying to do, and I just don't think that's fair. Nothing illegal. That's why there's no penalty, as Sticks is saying. And I do agree with that. There shouldn't be a consequence for the Cats. But internally, if not everyone was across it, honestly, Hock needs to take a look at who is at the head of this panel. And someone's head's got to roll. I just don't think it's okay to make conscious decisions to jeopardize your players' futures like that. I think it is selfish. It is corporate bullshit that we see in so many other industries, but we're not fucking with people's health like we are here. And Shadu says, how did the whole board approve it? I know, it's wild. I can't believe it. Now, who knows? This board could have been it's a board, not the panel. So the whole board is across it. Like, I can't get my head around that. It's mind-boggling to me. See, I think someone's head's got to roll internally. The AFL doesn't need to come in there and make any decisions and fire anyone or penalise us in any way. Unless they're going to go over and they go, sorry, but someone's head's got to roll for this. Like, there's no sanctions from us, but you've got to do something about what's going on in your own house. And good. There's 2 R's, 2 A's, 2 I's. Ray 17 says, sorry, apologies if I'm getting it wrong. Says the worst bit is it's so stupid. He was cleared, and it was not for an unreplaceable player. Now, keep in mind, we are speculating because I have my theory. In the Discord, I've shared my thoughts today about who I think that particular player is. There's certainly a few that all spring to mind. Chat, feel free to drop the name in there. I just won't air it here. I've got my theories because we've got players with different levels of concussion history and contract status, and we can pair some of these things together and come to conclusions. I've got my theories on who it is, and I guess I don't care whether the person is replaceable or not. It could be Jeremy Cameron, or it could be, I'm just going with a player that I think we're going to delist. It could be Mitch Nevitt. It doesn't matter who it is. All players should be treated the same in that regard. It shouldn't matter if you're the best or worst. Everyone's head, everyone's brain Everyone's long-term health should be considered as important as one another's, regardless of who you are. So yeah. So some questions. Comments. Flash says they've got to rip up the contract and do it again. Shadoo's responded to that saying Geelong removed the waiver part of the letter tonight. So it is now back to kind of a normal playing contract. And it always was. That's the reality of it. The contract never changed. It's just this waiver. It's just this stupid little, oh no, we can dust our hands of it and move on thing. That thing doesn't exist. And it would never have held up in a court of law if that particular player, whoever it was, anyone from Jeremy Cameron through to Mitch Nevitt, it doesn't matter who it was, it would never hold up. Anyway, what else have we got here? Benny says, do they even seek legal advice? I doubt it. Clearly not. Cone Piece. So I think the first time I've seen you in the chat before, and I've kind of missed a few of your comments. So it says, what's the big deal? It's not like it was legally binding. It's stupid. We will put the player in that. And that's the thing. But that's why I think that someone needs to still take the fall for this, because we just shouldn't be going down this path, full stop. Cone Piece also says, I think the player's career is their responsibility and not the club. Part of it is their responsibility. I mean, if that individual sustained a concussion right after this, and be it through the panel that's set up to assess, or through their own volition goes, I can't take another one of these, I'm done. That's fine. But that's their own responsibility. That's their choice, or the decision was made for them. That's fine. But when they get passed through this process, and they're allowed to play, and the player goes, okay, well, the medical experts are saying I can play, but then your club goes, hey, just in case it happens again, here's a little bit of paper that we want you to sign so that we don't get in trouble if something happens. That's dirty, underhanded bullshit. I don't like it. So yeah, that's that one. I am seeing different thoughts in the chat there. Certainly one that's expressed as the name that I'm seeing two names there in particular that have been cited that I certainly think it is one of those two individuals. I think it is the first, not the second. Chat, you can work out the sequence there to work out where my head's at, or you just go to the Discord and see where my head's at. I just don't want to put it in video. I don't want to put it in any place of permanence. Because I want to respect that individual through this platform. Ben says, can we somehow blame James Worpel? We can't, and we shouldn't, because he's playing good football. Jim Hayes 87 pops in and says, Sticks is the best. What did Sticks say? If anyone gets the sack, I hope it's Buckley. Mate, Jesus Christ. How do you do this? Just circle every opportunity. Circle back to Nathan Buckley. You'll get a chance to talk Nathan Buckley soon, because we're going to talk about Geelong assistant coaches before too long. But also, kudos to you for finding a way to do that once again. Jessica M65 says, if you're being paid, say, $400,000 a year and retiring may see you earn less than $100,000 a year, are you retiring or risking your health? If you're being paid, say, $400K or more, and retiring may see you have to earn less than $100K a year, are you retiring or risking your health? I think there's enough data out there now that says you're ultimately still risking your health. I think you're risking your health to keep playing. And I don't know, is there a dollar value that can put on someone's health? We've spoken about this. We had the big and magnitudes, I guess, difference in terms of the nature of the injuries and the damage and those sort of things. But everyone will remember from early in the year when I was doing my bit to promote my wife's campaign against endometriosis and all that she's suffering there, and that is a lifelong disease that absolutely kills women. And I'd sacrifice every cent that I earn and would slum it for the rest of my life to take that away from her. As I'm sure, if that particular individual's been earning a fat bag of cash for their entire career, and could just pay the CTE away, I'm sure they would. But yes, sorry. Now, okay, you've expanded on that thought. My point is that's why we shouldn't be up to the players. Yes, agreed. That's why we have a medical team. And of course, if you, the player, then at that point you've gotten the approval, but you still don't feel comfortable, then retire. That's fine. The ball's in your court at that point. But let the medical people do their thing. Shudu says, if you get hurt in the workplace and can't do your role, your work needs to give you a job you can do without a pay cut. In the AFL, they don't. Which is obviously, yeah, different circumstances, of course. The salary is massive incentive bias. Yes. All right. That was our breaking news item, and we are almost 30 minutes into the show, so we're going a long time tonight. Please, super chats. It's going to keep my nose alive. Mark says, Paul, can you clarify when this contract with the clause was done? Believed to be the end of 2024, so you can work backwards and work out which Geelong players re-upped their contract in 2024. And you'd probably be able to whittle the list down of potential players to a very small number. One of which is the player who I firmly believe it to be, especially when you think about their concussion history. All right. So let's move on to the rest of our show. The normal run of show at this point. It's time to get into match preview mode. The Cats play the Bombers. It's kind of hard to focus on the game. I've certainly seen the sentiment in the Discord today from Ben Harris and others that are just like, I don't really care. And I don't know if that's still the case. So Ben, sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth. I don't really care about this game anymore. Like, I want answers about my club. Oh my God, Thomas. That's some like game night style sort of dollars. Shit. All right, I can go pay for one of those Vicks Vapor nose blaster things. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. That's some game night sort of donations coming through. Thank you very much, mate. All right, let's get into match preview mode. As you can see, Saturday afternoon, 4:35. We're 1 day, 20 hours, and 6 minutes away as things stand. And let's get into the lineups because they have been revealed. The ins and outs for the Cats and Bombers are as follows. Sam De Koning comes in. Mitch Edwards, the recent Rising Star nominee, more on that soon, is out for a rest. For the Bombers, I'd argue they're stronger this week than they were last week. It's still a very weak Bombers team. Like this, pussy. I'll just fire a snot rocket around and see if it right on the camera. Jai Caldwell, Vigo, what a name. Vigo Vizentini. And Archie Perkins are in. Angus Clark, Harry Jones, who is from my neck of the woods, but and I want to support because of that. But that bloke's body and ability is just not of AFL standard. And Nick Bryan are out. And so we look at the matchup between the two teams here, and I go, Cats by 60 plus points. This is going to be a bloodbath. And in fact, there's a bit of me that goes, if it's anything less than 80, I'll be disappointed. Ben says 9 straight wins against the Bombers. Is that 9 straight already? I haven't scrolled down to your notes. 9 straight wins against the Bombers already? Oh yeah, sorry, we have. The Cats have won the last 9 matchups against the Bombers, and the Bombers last defeated the Cats at GMHBA Stadium in 1990. This is also our retro round game, so expect the Collars to come back. It'll be a fun time through that lens as well. Oh my God, Shadu. You didn't? Thank you. Thank you very much to all of you as always. You're far too good to us. I appreciate that a lot. Where are we? You knocked me off my you ruined my flow. No, there's our ins, there's our outs. Of course, making sure to note the emergencies as well. Jack Bowes, Mitch Edwards, and Jake Kolodjasny as the emergencies here. Elijah Sartis, Harry Jones, and Lockie Blackston, the emergencies for the Bombers. Ben's right. Super Chat's going crazy tonight. Yeah, thank you to everyone, or to Thomas and Shadu, who've dropped your Super Chats in there. Really, really appreciate that. But of course, people, and this works backwards for Thomas and Shadu, if you've got something you want for Q&A, you've earned the brownie, you've earned the credits, so feel free to cash them in later or drop the question now, whatever. Maybe drop the question later so I don't lose it in the meantime. Can I... Yeah, if you've got a question, make sure you drop it in there so we can bring it up later. All right, yeah, like I said, Cats by 60 plus points here. Honestly, usually I try and go through line by line and go, okay, here's the strengths of the opposition and what we need to shut down. Oh my God, Thomas. Thank you. That's another Vicks Vapor Snot Blaster. Those things are magic, by the way. There's no line here where Essendon even super chat war between Thomas and Shadu. We got ourselves an arms race. There's no line here on the Bombers outfit that puts the fear of God through Geelong in any way, shape, or form. But who knows? Zach Merritt might be putting a good foot forward this week to audition for the Cats. We know that obviously Chris Scott has reached out and they're showing some interest among the Zach Butters and all the other things that we're trying to make happen. Who knows? Watch the Zach Merritt situation closely this week, because who knows? He might be a Cat. He's certainly not my preferred option if you let me to choose between those two mids, but he's probably the cheaper of the two options, and maybe that is an important factor as well. So Shadu's just dropping super chats and then going to put the kids to bed, not even worrying about firing questions or any of those sorts of things. So, thank you. Flash says, question, how many goals is Jay Polkinghorn kicking? I'll let you get that one without a super chat. Jay Polkinghorn will kick 4 this weekend. Shannon Neal will kick 6. And then the others, the other smalls to mids are just going to dine out on this mob. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. 60 plus, I'm just going to tip it. Geelong by 80 points for this one. And getting a big margin is going to be really important in this game too, because it's shaping up. And maybe, oh geez, we've already flushed out a bunch. We've already had a bunch of super chats get flushed out already, thanks to the craziness of Thomas and Shadu. But if we keep going stupid with super chats, I might just go and do a bit of a ladder predictor for the rest of the season, and even put margins in there as well, so we can get a real sense for it. Because percentage seem like, pending what happens between Hawthorn and Brisbane this weekend, if Hawthorn gets the points, and I think we are all very quietly, we're tipping Hawthorn this weekend and hoping Hawthorn wins. If Hawthorn happens to win this game of football, then fourth, the seas are parting for fourth, because Adelaide has a game against Freo along the way. Melbourne have already dropped one against Freo, so the points there sorted out. Brisbane, by losing, will bring, and us presumably just winning our 3 will give us the opportunity to be equal on points with any team that finishes equal fourth with us. And it's just down to percentage, where right now we have the superior one, and we just need to make sure we hold off some of these other teams who are in the similar position. Shadu says, die Brisbane. Yeah, fuck them. Kill them. Kill them with fire. All right. Where are we? Let's jump over to the injuries list here, because we got a little update there. Here's the medical report. Jeremy Cameron, 1 to 3 weeks. He was even speaking on the podcast earlier in the week. His Ausmerican Aces, where he spoke about how he's out there running, and he said if it was a grand final, he'd play. So we're basically there with Jez. Now we're just conditioning and getting him right and good to go. The other big watch is, of course, Max Holmes. Now, if you see 5 to 7 weeks, think that through numbers-wise. That is round 22, round 23, round 24, the wild card week, and the qualifying final or elimination final, whatever we end up playing. There's your 5. 6 semi, 7 prelim available for grand final in the should we make it, and in the worst case scenario for Max Holmes' ankle and syndesmosis injury. So there's hope. And if he's on that 5-week side, that could work out perfectly. If we can get up in a qualifying final, if we earn a qualifying final, we travel to it'd have to be WA. We travel to Perth. If we can manage to beat Freo, we get ourselves a week off, a home game at the MCG, and Max Holmes returns. It'd be good shit. That'd be really good shit. There's your medical report anyway. Toby bloody Conway, still TBC. Harley Barker, TBC with his ACL. He's, of course, not going to come back VFL level, I think, at this point at all. Kyton Matafai Forbes, 3 to 5 weeks with his finger. Jacob Mollier with his quad is 1 week, and Danger is listed as available, but we're not bringing him back. Give him a week. Let him cook. Oh. I need someone to spend some money on a super chat and Uber one of those Vicks snot blasters over to me. Oh, it whistled. All right. Let's get into the last time we met. There's your margin. 44 points. The Worm. We didn't really blow them away. Like, we took the piss early. We got a nice, healthy lead. And then we just held it. We threatened to really blow them out of the water, but we just held it. Inaccuracy, of course, was a big feature, though. 15-19, 109 to 10-5, 65. Oh, the Sergeant. Hang on a minute. Is this the usual bullshit? Yep. Sarge, I had to jump over to live chat again, not top chat. I don't know why you don't appear there. We've got to work out what is going on with you and why you don't get looked after properly. I might have to hide you and then unhide you at some point and see if that has any impact, but I won't do it right now. I don't want to mess around with it while we're live streaming. I don't know why you continue to get screwed by YouTube, why it ignores you. So I'm glad that Shadu has acknowledged you, because otherwise I would have had absolutely no idea. Good to have you back. 100 games, 100 days. You're still in YouTube jail. The Sarge filter, as Shadu says. All right. Yeah, 44 points. The coaches' votes from that one. Bailey Smith finished with 9. Shawnee Manor with 5. Max Holmes 4. Connor O'Sullivan 3. Graham Myers 3. Shannon Neal 1. Jeremy Cameron kicked 4 goals, 5. Jack Henry was subbed off at halftime with a hamstring. And then there was Dylan Shields' dangerous shove of Mark O'Connor that got him in a bit of strife. When we look at the broader history of these two clubs, and Ben has stopped linking the AFL tables page that had these records. Let's quickly, AFL tables, Geelong v Essendon. Look at my Last of Us background too, by the way. It's good shit. Oh, that was an apostrophe. Not by season. Fuck. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's the Essendon framing of it, but it'll work for us anyway. There's the history between the two clubs. Keep in mind, it's filtered based on Essendon. So 226 games between the teams, 115 wins to the Bombers, 106 wins to the Cats. Of course, the Cats dominating the more recent record. And yeah, I mean, 5 draws. There's been 13 finals. Got a few memorable victories that I'm sure we can all think of. The 2014 round 15 game where the Cats were trailing by 9 points at in the fourth. We end up winning that one by 9 points. In 2008, round 2 of 2008, we smoked them by 99 points. And according to Ben Reeve, it's the best game ever played. We'll ignore the game of 2009, St Kilda and Geelong, which is possibly the best home and away game of football you've ever seen, despite the loss. We'll just pick a round 2 against the Bombers, who were shit. 2004, that is the semi-final. I was there this day, the day that the Bombers' drought started. Geelong by 10 points after James Hird threatened to pinch it late. Geelong won that semi-final, went on to play Brisbane the next week. We lost, but the Bombers haven't won a final since that year. Geelong kicked off the drought. Ben says, trust the show notes. On the more depressing side, the trauma corner side. Come back, there we go. 2017 round 8. Essendon by 17 points. The Cats kicked 6-0 to start the fourth quarter, but finished with 6 straight behinds and blew it. In 2011, round 15, Essendon pinched it by 4 points. They kicked 7 goals in the fourth quarter. Was not enough. We gave them a head start and we blew it. Back in 2005, round 18, the Bombers won by 13 points after Geelong led by 14 points in the third quarter. And then there's the 1989 qualifying final where the Bombers won by 74 points, but they would later lose to us in a prelim. Sucked in, losers. And that's your history between those two clubs. All right. Let's bounce back and just keep the today's game on the screen while we move on from there. There have been a few controversies. Dylan Shields' one-match suspension for injuring his own teammate. That was, of course, related to the Mark O'Connor shove. Paul Chapman, at one point, called Brendan Goddard self-centered, and he was 100% right. And then there's been a few famous crossovers over the years from Paul Chapman, which is a very depressing one. We should never have offloaded Chappie. Nor should we have offloaded James Kelly. Nor should we have offloaded Matty Stokes. But anyway, those three all bounced over from the legendary Cats team over the Bombers. David Johnson jumped ship as well. Sam Hunt, Joel Reynolds, Brent Prismal, Stuart Cramery coming back the other way. Mitch Brown went from the Cats to the Bombers. Johnny Barnes, Gary O'Donnell, Mark Thompson, of course, as the coach. Bomber legend became a Cats legend. Gary Rowan through the player development lens. Matty Egan as an assistant coach. And the weapon. But Ben says we'll leave that one alone. Yeah, let's leave that alone. The biggest win that Geelong have enjoyed is 116 points back in 1932, but the biggest loss in 1986 was 97 points. Our longest winning streak is our current run. 9 games in a row dating back to 2019, and our longest losing streak is 10 games between 1982 and 1986. So it'll be nice if we can bank the win this weekend to make sure our winning streak is at least equal to our longest losing streak, and hopefully with a couple more wins, we surpass that one too. The goals record, George Gonion, a name that keeps popping up in the last couple of weeks, kicked 11 in 1951. And the disposals record, no. Hang on, Ben. Didn't Gary Sr. kick 14? That game where Salmon kicked 10 and Gary Sr. kicked 14? Most goals Sarge is backing me up, yeah. And Simon's jumped in there with 14 as well. Yeah, he kicked 14 goals, 7. Ben, you fucked up your notes again. So now I don't even... I'm not even going to trust his disposals record. He says I'm Ron Burgundy. He's trying to claim like he did it on purpose to punk me, but he did not. He's just left that from last week. The next 4 games that the Cats play... Well, we don't really have an X4. Of course, it begins with the Bombers this weekend, followed by North Melbourne and Richmond. Every other non-Geelong supporter is loving that slate of 3 games. Shout out to you guys. And then, of course, we've got a week off and a final because we are going to at least lock down that top 6, but hopefully top 4. Brendan Vella. If I see any more of this hashtag Team Ben shit, I'll have you kicked out. I'm Ron Burgundy? Sarge says, don't underestimate North at Marvel. We've not played at Marvel this year. Yeah, and we don't necessarily play Marvel super well either. So I will not be underestimating them. But also, right now at Marvel, they are smoking the Dogs still. We're at halftime. North 10 goals, 262. Lead the Dogs 5-6-36. There's your scores. Suck shit, Bulldogs. You said this was an important game. You're blowing it. Foxy with Team Paul. Yeah, get around him. And that's your around the grounds too. Conveniently placed because it was the next thing in our run of show. All right, Brendan. I'll accept that. None of this Team Ben stuff, but I'll let you have Team George and other miscellaneous players who were on the Geelong rookie list who never made it that you might really, really like. Shadu says, Jezza kicked 11 on them at Marvel last year. No Jezza this year. Secom Kin, I think for the first time for the night. I don't think I've seen you before this. Let's see if Malor, Hoffy or Pike could get a game before season's end. That's an interesting one. So, Scotty was asked about Jesse Malor, and he accepted that like he's really close and would be really close to getting the opportunity, but because of where we're at in the final, like the lead up to the finals now, there's a bit more of a risky endeavor to debut someone at this point. So I suspect we probably won't. There we go, Brendan with his Team Mitch Hardy pick there. So Team Turtle. Oh, Ben. Anyway. He did acknowledge that Hoff is real close and probably is owed a game, but with where we're at, he might just have to be a bit more patient. So, Corey Gregson. Team Gregson. For some reason, I saw his name come up for something recently, and it wasn't a good thing. Not tied to his time playing as a footballer, but just something since. Can't for the life of me think of what it was. Oh, it was like a dodgy Facebook Marketplace sale he was trying to make. Shout out to Corey Gregson. All right. Sarge says Danger v Wardlaw, but Danger's not playing. Secom says, man, are we scared to play the kids? No, we're not. We just don't want to flirt with the form before finals. No, you want to, at this point of the season, you want to build that momentum because we haven't really had momentum this year. We had a great block of 3 weeks with the forward handball game we were playing, and then it all just disappeared like a fart in the wind. So, no, we just need to build momentum. And if that means beating up on shitty teams and getting some good form going through that, I'm all for it. So I don't particularly, I'm actually with Chris Scott. I don't want to see, as much as I'd love to see Lenny Hoffman and those sorts of guys get a game, and Jesse Mellor, and who else did you cite? There was someone else in there. And Joe Pike. Probably Joe Pike hasn't earned it yet. But, Jesse Mellor, Lennox Hoffman, these guys probably deserve the opportunity, but they've left the run too late, essentially. So no. Brennan says no. Hashtag fuck Tasmania. Hashtag free Nigel Lappin. More on that to come. We're almost at our news segment, which will bounce over to basically now. So let me clear some of these tabs and get into the news where we first discuss Mitch Edwards. I told you to come back to this. Rising Star nominee for this week. Played a great game against Darcy Cameron, but I think has been really properly acknowledged for his full season contribution so far. We're at that point of the year where they start to look for players who've played a nice rounded season rather than just a single good game. And Mitch Edwards seems to have been the first of those nominations, but he played a pretty damn good game anyway. So we love you, Mitch. Well deserved. I'm actually shocked that Polk didn't get it that week, though. I thought Polk might have done his bit to get it, but with the game against the Bombers where he might be about to fill his boots, this could be his chance. So we might go back-to-back nominations this week. In fact, I'm calling it. Mitch Edwards this week, Jay Polkinghorne next week as the back-to-back Geelong nominees. And won't the non-Geelong fans love that if we see a Geelong, some Geelong love from the AFL the week after all of today's controversy. So congratulations to Mitch Edwards. Our next story here is the under-22 squad that's been announced, where we have 2 young representatives. Mitch Edwards, as we just discussed, and Connor O'Sullivan named in the initial 40-man squad. Sully will absolutely be there. Mitch, it's probably a bit of a harder thing for him. But when I looked through it, Rucks, in fact, let me walk that back. His only competition is a key forward. Mitch Edwards, congratulations on your 22 under 22 selection this year. That's huge. You and Connor O'Sullivan will be there. Love it. Shadu says, I almost don't want to drop Polk for Jezza in the next few weeks. We may not drop him. Why not? Why get rid of him? He's flying. And he's putting good defensive pressure on, which is what some of our other forwards haven't done. I'm okay with this. But yeah, shout out to Mitch Edwards and Connor O'Sullivan. Connor O'Sullivan's clearly the best key defender in this pack, and Mitch Edwards is clearly the best ruckman in this group. So that's fantastic for both of them. Our next story here is Tyson Stengel. The official severing of ties between club and player is now complete. Because with everything else that's gone on, this was a thing that happened this week. We forgot about it. Almost. This happened this week. Geelong Cats... wait, hang on. This week? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just the timing of it. Hang on a minute. Does Ben just fuck this one up again? When's the... Oh, yes, of course, because of the timing of our game last week. Yep. It was game day when it all popped up last time around. That's okay, Ben. You're off the hook. The Geelong Cats and Tyson Stengel have mutually agreed to part ways. The club, AFLPA, Tyson Stengel's management finalised this agreement on Friday. Unlike what we heard from Bobby Hill, we haven't gotten any details around what this looks like. How many years is he being paid out for and that sort of thing. Geelong doing a typical Geelong thing of just, no, I won't apologise. Fuck you, Ben. Geelong doing a typical Geelong thing of just keeping those details to themselves. Why does it need to be published? But yeah, congratulations. I think, as I've already said in a dedicated video already, congratulations to Tyson Stengel on all that he's accomplished. And I just hope that he is healthy, happy, and well with whatever it is that's pulled him back to South Australia, family or whatever. I just want the bloke to be doing well, because he's had it tough on multiple occasions leading up to this point. And he was enjoying a real purple patch from 2022 to 2024. Things started to get a bit wobbly last year, and of course he's now no longer with us. So I just hope that whatever has drawn him away from the game, that he is happy and he is safe. But as Shadu says, can't really reconcile their statements of Tyson Stengel versus their concussion letter. Yeah, it's a weird one. But I don't want to go back to the concussion thing unless the super chat steer us there later. It's a weird sort of night. Next story relates to Mark Blitzarves, who wants to play on in 2027. And I think, like, a lot of us have been discussing his prospects and whether this would or wouldn't happen. I think most of us were probably sitting a bit of a coin flip, 50-50 as to which way he went. Looks like he's keen to go on in 2027. That's not a guarantee that he will, of course, because maybe other list management decisions mean that he needs to be delisted or retired. But I think if he wants to go on, then he'll go on. So congratulations to Blitz. I'm happy for him. But I think as long as he's of the mind that, you know, he's not a walk-up start anymore, because I think he's pretty much a bit of a coin flip these days anyway. If we go and get Butters, if we go and get Merritt, if we go and get Toby Green, and everyone else continues to develop as we hope, it might make it really hard for Mark Blitzarves. And as long as he's really mindful of that, then great, good on him. So what he said is, I'm really enjoying it and keen to play on. The club's keen too, so we're working through that, which is what he said to Fox Footy. So good luck to Mark Blitzarves, and look forward to seeing you around. Now, the next one is the topic that has upset Cats fans this week. I wished I had the time to do a dedicated video because I think he deserves one, but it hasn't worked out. Illness, like I could not speak 2 days ago. Tasmania Lua's development guru away from the Cats. Of course, Nigel Lappin is departing the Cats at the end of the season. He is sticking it out until our premiership campaign is over, one way or the other. He's heading off to the Tassie Devils. Now, the initial sentiment from Geelong fans was really supportive. And I too have, really supportive. He's given us like 18 years. He's been phenomenal. He's got some great understudies. I don't think we're necessarily he's hugely important. I don't think anyone can replace him. But with the likes of Worthington and some of the others that are below him, I think we've got some great people who are going to step up and fill the void. But where my problem lays is in this component of it. The AFL war brewing over Tasmania Devils' access to the loophole in the wake of Nigel Lappin's appointment. Now, this loophole that we're talking about is that right now, the Tassie Devils don't have a soft cap. So when they go and get someone like a Nigel Lappin and whoever else, now a feud between Tasmania and Geelong, that's Channel 7 trying to put mayo on it and make it sound worse. Chris Scott spoke about in the press conference. He was nothing but supportive of Nigel, and he totally understood the situation and spoke about how it was kind of an offer too good to refuse. But the question is, how many of these offers that are too good to refuse are going to emerge for other Geelong talent or other talent at other clubs? Because if Tasmania's not upholding to a soft cap right now, not until 2028 when they enter the competition, then they can front load, just like a player contract, they could go and front load all of these contracts. They could say, hypothetically, to Nigel Lappin, hey mate, we're going to give, your contract says you're going to get $4 million over 4 years, which I presume is much, $1 million a year is probably much more than what a development coach currently earns. You're going to get $4 million over 4 years, and we're going to give it to you all in year one. Or we'll give you, $3 million of it in year one, and then you can get $333,000 each year from there, just tax. Just so that the ATO's happy. And of course, when they do that, that means all that money is Not like the first 3 million is in a year where they don't have a soft cap. So they're paying, like, he's getting his bag that he's been promised, but Tassie aren't paying the price for it at all as far as salary caps and those soft caps. There's problems there. I really dislike what is going on here. In the AFL, look, Tassie are doing what they can while they can, but the AFL needs to clamp down this and make sure that this sort of thing doesn't keep going on. And it's not to say, like, when I say, like, they might be paying him what he's worth, and he's been potentially taking unders at the Cats, and it was just too good of an opportunity for him to pass up to be part of a foundational club. And good, be aspirational, Nigel Lappin. I don't mind that. But if this loophole exists, it will be exploited in the same way that we exploit loopholes and get ourselves in trouble for it, or a lot of angry people shouting at us for it. They'll exploit it for all that it's worth. They'll front load those contracts, because why wouldn't you? You get a free year where you don't, like, you can pay what you owe, but not be upholden to anyone for it. Of course you're going to do it. So the AFL needs to tighten it up and make sure 2027 is clearly defined for Tasmania regarding their soft cap. Otherwise, they will abuse it. As well they should, to be clear. Same with Ken Hinkley. Why wouldn't you pay a large chunk of his income for 2027 and then it just tapers off? It makes all the sense in the world if you're able to do so. So the AFL needs to make sure they can't. Next story here is just around some draft combine nominees. Now, there's a big list here of nominees. We're going to search for Geelong Falcons specifically. We're going to focus on the Geelong talent in the mix here. But there are some players that I've been talking a lot about. You've all heard me talk about Jack Pickett and Noah Williams. They both feature on this list. Fantastic for Jack Pickett, given that he's done an ACL and MCL. I don't really know what he's going to be capable of doing here, but he got his invite. Noah Williams has also received an invite. And then you've got where are we? Hang on, why is that not? Oh, no, that's it. Where Geelong fell. Oh, there we go. Sorry, and Jet Alec is in there as well. That Control F is not working as it should. But anyway, I'm not familiar with Jet Alec. I might have to look him up. Does anyone know anything about Jet Alec? But as you've all heard, and I'm going to take the opportunity while I've got the platform once again to talk all about both Jack Pickett and Noah Williams. Jack Pickett was fancied as a top half a dozen player in the draft this year before he did his knee. He's a key forward. If you look at Kel Toomey's Phantom draft, understandably, Jack Pickett has slipped. Of course he would. He hasn't played football all year. He slipped from what would have been considered kind of top half dozen. I'm sure I heard that from Kel Toomey at one point. It was Kel, I'm pretty sure, was the one that was fancying him top half dozen. But I've definitely heard it from a few sources before. Kel's now got him ranked at like pick 18 in the draft. And if you look at picks 1 through 17, not a single one of them are key forwards. Despite the injury, he is still the top seeded key forward in the game according to Kel Toomey. Sorry, in the under 18s according to Kel Toomey. Geelong needs to pick this guy up. Noah Williams is also pretty highly touted. He was picked 12 in Kel's Phantom draft. And I think not for his talent, but because he's 177 centimetres, they might look for a few larger framed players in lieu of him. So I think there's opportunities here for Geelong to, and obviously a lot of it is pending what happens with Zach Butters or Zach Merritt or any of the other big names that we're chasing. The non-Toby Green figures, because we'll get him for free through free agency. If we kind of come up with donuts, then we need to find a way to get 2 first-round picks and pick up both Jack Pickett and pick up Noah Williams. I am so bullish about what these two have done. I've watched so much footage of the two of them playing last year and then again this year, and I really think they'll be fantastic adds to the Cats. So awesome that they're getting the invites. Of course, I don't expect Jack to be able to contribute much, but hopefully his recovery's going well and it puts him in good stead to get picked up at draft time. Next on the agenda here is relating to a memo that the AFL put out about resting players. And it's funny that Bevo's here because Bevo got out there. He said, "Oh, we're not going to do it. This is a big matchup for us this week against North Melbourne. This is like our grand final. We can secure our top 10 spot." And then this was going on. Hey, dogs, how's that grand final locking down top 10 going? More on that later. Anyway, on Monday, the AFL reminded clubs that making a significant number of team changes for games in round 24, effectively resting players en masse ahead of the finals, would be scrutinised by the league. They're considering it like a tanking thing, really, which is fucking dumb. While legitimate player management of player fatigue or injuries is permitted, the AFL will scrutinise club team selection decisions in the lead up to the AFL finals, AFL football boss Greg Swan said. Now, of course, when I say it's fucking dumb, I don't mean we want to see some integrity in the game. We want to still see teams taking it seriously and not belittle it. Like, actually, I think Freo did when Ross Lyon coached them years and years ago. They just phoned it in the final game of the season to make sure their players were fit. This didn't need to go out. This didn't need to be said. It's a stupid thing. Unless they are trying to make it clear to the lower rung teams, don't phone it in. If we sense you're tanking, you've got trouble coming. I don't know. It's strange. Anyway. Sucked in, dogs. It's not going well for you right now. Next up, and our final piece of... our final piece of news for the night is former Geelong AFLW captain Meg Mack is among 3 to join the AFLW All-Australian panel. McDonald joins the panel alongside Debbie Lee and Kirby Bentley, set to feature alongside established members of the panel such as Andrew Dillon, Laura Kane and Kate McCarthy. Congratulations to Meg Mack, star of the Cats. There's your full panel. Andrew Dillon, Laura Kane, Gemma Bastiani, Kirby Bentley, Debbie Lee, Kate McCarthy, Meg McDonald, Eliza Riley and Michael Whitting. We love Meg. She's been amazing and will do a fantastic job on the All-Australian panel as well for the AFLW. Flash says, the AFL wanted that extra game and now they're complaining about clubs resting players. I know, right? Dipshits. Secom Kin, I just scrolled back a little bit to find your comment, to see your comment there, and I see that I hope Geelong target Connor Iden at GWS. I haven't even heard that his name's been linked to the Cats in any way. And no, I think I'm okay without him. Like, he's a great player, don't get me wrong. But I think I'm okay without him. All right. Where are we at? Oh, yes, we've got trivia. Ben's new game of yes and no. Game of the week. And your questions and comments. None of which have come through yet. So don't hesitate to drop some questions through the super chat there if you... Yeah, sorry. Been a long week. I haven't been sleeping very well while I've been sick. All right, let's get into some trivia. Oh, no, sorry, milestones. 250 games to Ryan Lester this week, 200 to Jared Berry, 100 games to Jason Horn-Francis, Toby Bedford, and Liam Stocker. Ben with the typo. Didn't fool me. All right, trivia time. I hope you're ready. How many games have been attended by more than 80,000 people in 2026? So how many games have been attended by more than 80,000 people in 2026? Ben says I'll be burping and farting next. We'll see. Oh, Sarge got it with his first pick. It's 8. You're right. Oh, no, it's not. Damn it. Caleb Smith's got it. Sorry, with 7. 7. All of those games have involved the Pies except for the Easter Monday match between the Cats and the Hawks. Sorry, Sarge. Pumped you up only to shoot you down. Ben can't play. We don't like him. Next question. How many games have been attended by less than 10,000 people in 2026? So how many games have been attended by less than 10,000 people in 2026? Flash, I don't know if that was a response to your last question or not, or this one. It's just the timing of that comment. So Jake Grover says 3. Sarge says 1. Simon says 4. It is higher than 1, 3, and 4. Horatio says 5. If Flash wants to clarify his most recent comment, that would be handy. Secomkin says 12. Freezer Stock says 11. Nope. Just a little bit too high from both of you two. I keep asking about Flash's response for a reason, but I feel like... No, Flash says 4. Okay. Freezer Stock says 9. Simon with 10 is the correct answer. There's been 10 games this season where less than 10,000 people have attended. Ben didn't give me a common club or anything like that, but I'd imagine Gold Coast and GWS probably feature in a few of those. Next question is, what is the average crowd attendance at the MCG in 2026 so far? For some perspective, there have been 40 games played at the MCG so far this year. What is the average attendance? And I'll say closest to the nearest 1,000 will do the job. Sarge says 42K, go higher. Freezer Stock says 59, and my God, you were close, go lower. Secomkin with 58,000 has nailed that one. 58,000 to the nearest 1,000 is correct. 58,305 is the average attendance so far this season. It's the Jelly Bean question, Ben says. He's right. In what year did Geelong set the club record for average attendance in a season? So the average, for context, is 44,702. In what year was that our average attendance in a season? So specifically, I want the year, not the average. I told you the average, 44,702. What year did we get that average? Freezer Stock with 1859 is off by a little bit. Sarge with 1995 is off. Secomkin with 2007 is off. You need to go a little bit higher, Secomkin. Shadu says 2022. Flash says 2022. You're both wrong. Go lower. Ben with 1897. He wrote the questions. He knows the answer. That's not true. Mark is getting pretty close with 2008. Simon with 2008 is also pretty close. 2010. Freezer Stock's got it. 2010 was the highest average attendance for Geelong games. And of course, that's inclusive of things like the MCG and that sort of thing too. So 44,702 was our average that year. And our final Q&A question of the night. Sorry, not Q&A. Yeah, a trivia question, I should say. How many finals has Geelong played in Geelong? This one sucks. How many finals games have we played in Geelong? Sarge says 1. Incorrect. Foxy says 1. Incorrect. Horatio says 1. Incorrect. Simon says 4. Incorrect. Flash says 1. Incorrect. Second Kim with 22 is slightly off. Significantly off. Mark, Freezer Stock with 2 is correct. But we lost both of them. Of course, we think of 2013 at Cardinia Park, but also in 1897 at Corio Oval. We lost them both. And now Ben's new game. Yes or no? Ben, what I want you to do, if you want to continue this game, you need to have some sort of full screen graphic that I can just kick to. You know, boom. There it is on the screen. Paul James show style. Yes or no? Can a team... now this is not true or false. So says, yes, 1897. How can I forget? We all forgot about 1897. The great stagecoach debacle. Yes, so this is not true or false. This is just in your opinion, yes or no. So, chat, have at it here. Can a team from outside the current top 4 win the 2026 premiership? So keep in mind, your current top 4 does not include the Cats. Your current top 4 is, just for a reminder for everyone, Fremantle, Sydney, Hawthorn and Adelaide. So do you think a team that is outside of those 4 teams will win the premiership this year? Caleb says yes. Shadu says yes. Simon says yes. Foxy says yes. Freezer says yes. Overwhelming response is yes. It's because Geelong will win the premiership this year. But also, Brisbane could very well win it. Cats are winning from 10th one year, says Sarge. Why not? Why not us? The next question is, now he was here really early in the show. Atush. I'm not sure if you're around. Ben says nah. Not sure if Atush is still around or whether he's still trying to make a pitch for Graham Myers to join the Blues. Will Carlton make the wild card round? Currently, they are 10th. Currently, they sit in that space to play the wild card games. Will Carlton be there at the end? And will someone throw a super chat in there that will lead me to do a ladder predictor to see how I think it's going to play out the remaining 27 games of the season? Foxy says no. Freezer says they'll finish 11th. Simon says yes. Shadu says yes. Sarge says nope, they're losing to the Saints. Freezer says no. Horatio says yes. Mark says yes. Caleb says yes. Who else is in the running? I mean, in the running, the teams around them, to quickly project the ladder. There's your ladder right now. So we're talking about the Dogs, who are currently losing, of course, to North. You've got Collingwood, Carlton, St Kilda, the Giants, and North. They would be the teams. That block from 8th to 13th, the teams that are fighting for that spot. Caleb says would hate to play them. I'd absolutely hate to play Carlton. Brendan says yes. Hashtag free Rowan Marshall. Oh, there we go. Simon's dropped the super. All right, we'll do a ladder predictor before this is all done. We'll get to the end of yes or no. We'll do game of the show. And during our Q&A, questions and comments sections, we will also do the ladder predictor and just see how it goes. And of course, I'll fold in your thoughts as we go. Thank you, Simon. Here we go. Next yes or no question. Will there be a twilight or night grand final before 2030? So I guess it's not happening this year. I think it's already confirmed that it won't be for next year, but 2028, 2029, I'll even count 2030 in this. He says before 2030. I'm going to count before the end of 2030. So in the next 5 years, will there be a night grand final? And we know that the next 2 years, the answer is already no. Shadu says yes. Freezer says yes. Simon says yes. Pretty much everyone, Asaj is saying yes. Everyone else is saying no, and in some cases, hopefully never, like Secom Kin says. I think the answer is no. But by 2040, yes. Yes, it will happen. Shadu says, I think the AFL want it and will make it happen. Yeah, I think you're right. And that's why, by 2040, I think it will. I just don't think will have happened by the time we get to 2030. I think the pushback will continue for a couple more years, and then it'll be impossible to hold it back. Next question. Cats fans, this is where our bias might kick in a little bit, but I think there's plenty of reason to think this might play out. Will Ollie Dempsey win an All-Australian Blazer? Actually, it just says an All-Australian Blazer. He's not specifically talking about this year. 2 questions. The first question for everyone is, will he win one? Ever. Will he ever win an All-Australian Blazer? Horatio says, hopefully I'll be dead by then. I think in reference to 2040. Freezer Stock says, pre-answering yes. Shadu says yes. Sarge says yes, but not this year. Foxy, yes. Simon, yes. Secom Kin, winning team Carlton will not make print in the paper. What? Horatio says yes. Flash says All-Australian on the wing for sure. Freezer Stock says now that Kane Corns is off the panel, yes. Caleb says yes and maybe. All right, second question is, will he get... So for all those who just said yes, will he win the All-Australian Blazer this year? So that's the other half that I'm just adding into the question here, is will he get the All-Australian Blazer this season? Foxy says yes. Simon says yes. Bucks is on the panel. Ben says wee wee. It was French Day at my kid's school. Stu says, no, I think you'll get one. I don't think you'll get one this year, but I reckon he'll be right in the convo. Corn said he should be. There you go. Kane Corn said he should be. We're golden, except that Kane Corn's not on the panel. Caleb says, shit, I was ahead. Yeah, maybe. Flash says yes. Sarge says no. Not even sure he'll get in the squad, honestly. No, he'll be in the squad. He had a better year last year. I need to sit and pick through that because early in the season I would have agreed with you. I need to reassess that one. If picked on position, he should be in. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. So it's just whether the All-Australian team continues to persist with we're just going to put midfielders everywhere and not worry about true positional factors. But anyway, the last winger was actually Hugh McCluggage, not long ago. He was still playing the wing at the time, and he got it. So for his stock, not that long ago. Go Time's popped in with a question. We'll see if we can, if people want to super chat and fold that in while we're doing the fixture and everything, we'll do that too. But our final two yes or no questions from Ben. Will Nick Dacos poll more than 40 Brownlow votes? Whether he wins or loses, set that aside. Will Nick Dacos poll more than 40 Brownlow votes? Oshin should get a nod, Ben says. That's in the All-Australian squad. Sarge says easily. Simon says yes. Freezer says absolutely. Foxy says yes. Go Time says yes. He'll poll 50 plus, says Freezer. That's huge. What happened in that year when Paddy Cripps beat him with a huge margin? What did Paddy Cripps get that year? Was it like 46? So he'd average like two Brownlow votes a game. Was it 2023? No, must have been 2024 because Paddy Cripps only got 22 that year. 45 votes, breaking the previous all-time polling record of 36. Absurd. Fucking dumb. Anyway. Freezer's been right about everything else tonight. Go Time says 45. Flash says Nick Dacos will poll a lot of votes and he'll be the best dressed at the Brownlow. He won't leave early. George Stevens should be a lock for All-Australian. Our last question. I don't even have a good answer for you this one, but Ben's trying to set me up. Are corporate suites everything we imagine them to be? So those who've been in a corporate suite before, which I haven't been, by the way, sound off in the comments below. Are corporate suites everything we imagine them to be? Simon says no. Freezer says no. Go Time says, no, I'm too broke, unfortunately. There we go. No matter our financial situation, we are all gathering around no being the correct answer. Or the answer, sorry. All right. Foxy says no, but I don't know what they're like, though. Flash says yes. Yes, I've been in one, and they are great. MCG with windows open. What I will say, like, it wasn't the corporate suite, but when I went to the prelim last year, the Cats and Hawks prelim, to Flash's point about the windows, when I was sitting in one of the dining rooms for the MCC, and they have seats at the front of it, but behind the glass, that glass must be a meter thick. It just killed all the sound. And I've heard how insane the crowd was that night, and I just couldn't hear anything. It really sucked. No, go Time. You still got plenty of time. We're going to be doing a ladder predictor shortly too. So you still got plenty of show left in you, but otherwise jump back in after we're done and you can go check out all the thoughts on today's big news as well as all the other topics of discussion from this week. It's a big news week for the Cats. All right, so that is our game of yes or no done. Ben, I expect to see a fancy layout, fancy graphic for yes or no for next week if you're going to bring it back. All right. the Dogs have closed the margin to 15 points. Let's jump over to our game of the show. I tend to... Oh, accidentally clicking things before it's time. I tend to go with a big fancy AAA thing, big budget, big dollars spent. This week I'm going for a little indie thing because I love the original game. This game is called Moonlighter 2. By day, you run a shop.
This shop isn't your choice.
Go out and explore.
It's your duty, your legacy, and it gives you a chance to learn how to read the room, to pick
10%.
your battles, to know exactly what's worth keeping.
Just trust me.
You learn that not all fights are won with steel. Some are won with patience. Some with care. Because greed will fill your pack. But only wisdom brings it home. Driven by heart, you balance both worlds. Not to escape your legacy, but to own it. This is who you are.
And other platforms too. I just found the trailer on the PlayStation YouTube channel. All right, that is Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault. Please consider checking it out. It's very, very cool. All right, chat. Benny says, skip. Fuck you, Ben. Tunic meets Zelda, says Sarge. Good pick. Paul travels by helicopter, he said. Stu says, I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal around here. People know I'm very important. My corporate box smells of rich mahogany. Oh, shit. I look away and everyone's starting to dunk on me for that trip to... I didn't even pay for it. My dad did. He just took me there with some of his mates. I was so out, and it gave me the experience sucked. Go Time says, I never heard of that game. Waiting for 1 billion gigabytes for GTA 6. That's fair. All right. Let us now go and do some ladder predictions. So we'll get that there. Firstly, score check for everyone. Boom. Roos by 16, closing in on 3/4 time. But now let's do some ladder predicting. And for the sake of this, let's work on the assumption. Let's work on the assumption that North goes on to win this. Do we want to work with that assumption for the sake of this ladder predictor? For starters. I'll let you direct me, chat. Oh, there we go. And, Aaron Norton just kicked the goal. Ben also, just to Ben's point, he says, Paul said Geelong would lose one game in 2026 and Gold Coast would play finals. Ben also said that Essendon would play be in the top 4 on multiple years. Remember that, everyone. Sarge says, I think the Dogs win. They've managed to keep it ahead all night. North isn't winning this, says Horatio. There's a bit of a swell there that suggests the Dogs might come out on the top. They have kicked the last 3 as well. We'll explore both options. Let's go with the current status that North is winning, and then we'll go from there. So, predictor time. We'll say North. We'll try and hold to the current margin, so North by 10 points, and then we'll alter from there. The big one, of course, for Geelong's top 4 chances is this game. If Brisbane win, we can't do it. If Hawthorn win, we're in. Chat, which way do we want to go? I personally, no one from work's going to see this, I have tipped Hawthorn. No, did I? What have I done? Yeah, I think I've tipped Hawthorn. But I don't know if that's because that's what my head wants for our top 4 chances, or whether that's because I genuinely think that's going to be the case. In fact, hang on. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do what I think is going to happen, and then we're going to roll from there. So, anyway, we'll come back to that. Hawks to beat... Yeah, I've tipped Hawthorn. Fremantle to win. Sydney to win. Do we need to focus... I'll focus on margins where it matters. So I think that's a... it won't matter for that one. No, actually, it probably will because Melbourne's contending. That margin doesn't matter. Geelong, I've tipped them by 80 points in the preview, so we'll go with that. Adelaide to beat Richmond by probably a similar margin. GWS, I've got beating Gold Coast. Yeah, 20 points is about right. Collingwood, I've got beating West Coast by probably 40 points-ish. And this is a big one for the whole will Carlton play top four. St Kilda v Carlton. I haven't looked at the teams for those two yet. So have there been any significant changes for either team this week? I'm just going to have a quick look. They won't have announced their teams, will they? Oh no, Jack McRae, Dan Butler, Cooper Sharman. No outs yet. But Max King will be one of them. I'm going to go St Kilda. With not a great deal of confidence. According to this, Jacob Wiedering's not in, Sarge, but that could still change. Ben says he did tip the Suns this week. For whatever good that is. This guy thought Essendon was going to play finals. Round 23, we've got the Dockers beating the Crows. I think 20 points is a reasonable sort of margin. Saints to win by 40. Cats to win by... I don't think we'll belt North. I think it'll be 20 to 30 points. Lions to beat the Suns by probably 40. Hawthorn to beat Collingwood. I don't think that'll still be close-ish because those two teams, that's all they seem to play. Not that dissimilar to Hawthorn and Geelong, really. Melbourne to win by probably 30. GWS to win by 30 and get an almighty scare. I don't tip either team with confidence here based on how the Dogs are going right now. But the Dogs should win, but it'll just be close. Sydney to win, that margin doesn't matter. Sydney is just not a factor in this mix at all. They're going to be a game clear, so it's fine. And then our final round, Saints. Yeah, 20 is probably about right. Lions. Fremantle. And that's Carlton done. Melbourne. Yeah, I think that margin's probably okay. Cats will monster them. Crows. I think the wheels will fall off for GWS in that final game of the season. But, there's also a chance they go, all right, let's take it. It's a free swing. Let's see how we go. That game doesn't matter. Port, though. Sydney, again, doesn't matter. And Hawthorn, and it won't matter. And so that's how my top 10 finishes. We'll go to the finals and have a look at it in a sec, but that's how my top 10 finishes. Obviously, I didn't tip a percentage for all of those, but that's how I've got it looking. Freezer Stock says it's a 4-point margin now, so let's go back and flip that game now. The Dogs are clearly tracking to win it now. I don't think it has any bearing. No, it won't have any bearing. Based on my fixture anyway. So there's my top 10, which means Carlton misses. But, we explore these games and, if Carlton wins, percentage will probably be the problem. St Kilda will still hang on. So, but then of course, let's look, and this is why the Brisbane game is so important. The Brisbane Hawthorn game this weekend is tomorrow night, is so important. Because if Brisbane wins, then my projection is that they won't lose another game and they'll then hold on to fourth. And we'll have to play the winner of whatever wildcard bullshit goes on. So, flicking back to that, going to the finals, here's how it would look. Melbourne to beat St Kilda. I'm going to tip the Pies because the Dogs are just falling apart. You've got Freo and Geelong. Now, like I said before, with the Max Holmes thing, if we somehow find a way to get through that, it'll be amazing. Suspend Paul Curtis, OP. What happened? I need to go check this. But let's explore all the possibilities. Freo, Adelaide to beat Collingwood, Brisbane to beat Melbourne, Sydney to beat... Oh. No, I'd tip the Hawks. Cats, oh, disgusting. Fuck. Why does this always happen? Sydney to finally overcome some yips, but then lose to Freo in the prelim. And Cats to beat Hawks. And yeah, okay, we're going to win. That's how it goes. We're going to win. This is the way, as Sarge says. Okay, so let's explore that. So I just saw Go Time say, "Call me crazy, but we'll beat Freo in Perth if we make fourth." So let's see what happens if that plays out. Then there's your prelim week. Sorry, Freezer, I leaked the script. Cats to beat the Swans, but then this is a tantalising thing because that'll be the MCG. Oh, I can't do an 08 repeat unless we win. That's traumatic. I've mocked two scenarios. The first one, my earnest opinion, that leads Geelong to play against Hawthorn in a prelim. And then the alternative is that Geelong plays Hawthorn in a grand final. God damn it. Ooh. But going back to what we said, Max Holmes should be back for prelim final weekend. If we get there. We do need retribution for 08. We got it last year, though. Grand final retribution. That's fair. Seal my trauma for good. Yeah, but if they win. All right. Yeah, but not really. No, I don't think we do either. Like, that's why my initial tip was that way. But then that puts us on a collision course with the Hawks. And then we find them in a grand final where maybe it's a different story playing them at the MCG. If they win, I'll paint Pam on the Balti with no harness. Shit. All right. Barring any super chats that derail us any further, I think it's time to wrap up the show. We've got an hour and a half tonight. And I knew this was going to be a longer one. As soon as the news dropped tonight, I knew this was going to be a longer one. But I need to do a dedicated video about what has occurred. That'll go up tomorrow morning. Ben has sent me the thumbnails already. So there'll be a dedicated video. So that normally the preview would go up first thing tomorrow after the Paul James show. Oh, fuck. Oh, Horatio, this is a good one because thanks for the super chat. Because I saw this pop up in the Discord the other day. I think Ethan took a real issue with it. Paul, as a school teacher, what are your thoughts on the use of terms verse or versing instead of versus or playing against? I've noticed, I was going to say recent years. I was thinking about this actually after seeing it pop in the Discord and on my way to work the other day. Oh, shit. Did you know Paul went to the MCC behind glass once? Sure did. Ben says 30 more minutes. If there's $30 worth of super chats that come in, I'll go for another 30 minutes. We'll stick it out to the end of the Dogs and North. In fact, that's what we'll do. If $30 more worth of super chats come in, we'll see it out until the Dogs and the North game's done. We can do a watch along. What did Paul Curtis do? But anyway, in the meantime, Horatio's question. I've noticed, versing, these two teams are versing off. That sort of phrase has become a more common one, and I don't. It's ugly, it's clumsy, it's gross. Verse should only be used if we're talking about music. A verse in the song. Verses is the way it should be. I'm sure I've made the mistake on this show in the past. No doubt about it, probably at some point clumsily. But verses or playing against is absolutely the way it should be. It is poor English. And Flash says it's poor English, but that's how language changes. It's going to be in the dictionary soon. You can say someone's well-versed in a topic. Yeah, sorry, thank you, Shadu. I blame Friday Night Footy Channel 7 for versing. Yeah, probably. Some bullshit BT would say. And Horatio, thank you for the super chat. Like I said, if there's $30 worth of super chats coming, we'll see it out till the end of the show. We'll see it out till the end of the Dogs. Yeah, it's 3/4 time. We'll see it out to the end of the Dogs and North and watch this game with great interest. In the meantime, I am going to quickly tune in and find out what Paul Curtis did. What did Paul Curtis do? Oh, yes, you do. BT not knowing who Mitch Edwards was. That was a great... Oh, Freezer, I thought just dropped $30. He didn't. That's 5, though. 25 to go. Hang on. 18 seconds to go in the third quarter. Nine seconds. Zerha bombing it in. Oh, just ripped it out the back. Very good. All right. Sorry, what Freezer stock question? Thoughts on the GAA trying to stop players from leaving for the AFL? Oh, there's an early goal to the Dogs. They don't get a say, right? Like, these are individuals that get to make their own life decisions. So fuck you, GAA. If another $25 worth of super chats come in, we'll watch this game to the end. Thank you, Freezer Stock, to contributing the first 5 there with that super chat. I think it's a really simple one. Sorry, I'm going to take these off because Red Roger drops another $3 in there. Thank you for that. So I guess that gets us down to what? $22 worth of super chats left, and we'll watch the rest of the game. But and doesn't drop a question. Just says hashtag Team Freezer Stock. Hey, oh my boy, says Freezer Stock. You're doing good work, Red Roger there. Red Roger, you can ask Freezer a question now. Don't mind Paul yapping in the background. Yeah, I've got no, like, I don't know. They don't get a say. As simple as that. They don't get a say in the futures of these players. If they want to come and play AFL in Australia because they get big dollars for it, or it's too good an opportunity to pass up, then bad luck. Pay your players more. Paul Curtis is buzzing around again. What have we had? We've had $8 worth of super chats. We'll watch. I'll sit around for 8 minutes worth of football. There's plenty of Irish people in Ireland. They'll be fine. Exactly right. Go time. Curtis is just running around the back of the contest unaccounted for. No potato famine in Ireland. Oh, Shadoo with $10. Team shit talk. Whispers around us being involved with Bailey Humphrey again. I don't think I ever heard that to begin with. Is there an article for it though? Or is it something that you're seeing on on a big footy or something like that? Shadoo? Because Bailey Humphrey's one I could get around. Oh, smart tap by Curtis. By the way, so that's, what are we at now? $5, $8, that's $18. So only $12 more, and we'll see out the rest of the game. Thank you to those who've super chatted, and in some cases, like Shadu just now, super chatted multiple times tonight. Appreciate all the support. Oh! Let go, Caleb Daniel. All right, I just rounded it off. Smart ass. But okay, just big footy people. I'd be interested, like if we were showing some interest in Bailey Humphrey, I could wrap my head around that. Oh, good. LDU backing into the contest really nicely. Oh, and another good pluck by the big Larky. Suva. But I guess Freezer Stocks called me out, so I guess if someone does donate the $12, we're 1 cent short, and someone will need to donate a cent to push us over the line. $12.01 for the rest of the game. Secomkin says, I have a question. Is Nathan Kruger a chance to be drafted to Geelong again? Is Nathan Kruger a chance to get drafted to Geelong again? Oh, no, faded right. Don't you dare use your own spells against me, Mr. Potter. Sucked in. Nathan Kruger. Freezer asks, he's a ruckman, right? No, he's like he's a key defender. These days he's a key defender. Oh shit. I don't have a good answer for you. Rookie list him. Yes, rookie list him. Hang on. So, here's a pathway for you. Yes, my answer is yes. Nathan Kruger will be a Geelong Cat again at the end of the year, and this is why. Some of you might already be aware. Some of you might be aware of this, that the AFL is looking to bring in a new rookie listed spot, specifically for an Indigenous player, to give to continue to foster and nurture opportunities for Indigenous players. Nathan Kruger is Indigenous. We pick him up as a rookie. He's been delisted from other clubs. He's able to be picked up on the rookie list. He gets that spot. That's how we bring him in. He's an Indigenous player. He gets that rookie listed spot. At 27 years old, as Secomkin says, he's 27 years old. That is a dangerous little kick there. That is, I think, the great. I like my own handiwork there. I think that's a great way to bring him on. Oh my God, Horatio with $12. We're 1 cent short. We'll turn it off with 2 seconds to go in the game. We're 1 cent short. Oh, you can't penalise that. Did Norton just get knocked out? Thank you, Horatio. Yeah, Norton's not bounced up from that well. I'll post you a penny, says Freezer. Thank you, Horatio. Sorry, by the way. And I joke about 1 cent. We'll see this thing out till the end. He doesn't look good. Yeah, Norton. Come on, North. I don't care about my footy tips. Oof. I need to have a look, actually, and see what this does to me if... Everyone around me has tipped the Dogs, but the margin might actually cause me to slip from second to third in my work comp. Norton hears a bell. $12 and no question. He's just a good quality bloke, Flash. Zerha just took the piss out of Bont. With a bit of hands in the back, I might add. But Red Roger asked a question. Did Red Roger ask a question? I'll have to... So there's the super chat where he says hashtag Team Freezer Stock. Oh! He is taking the piss, Harry Sheasel. That was far too complacent. Red Roger. Oh, question. Predict the next negative headline for Geelong. Don't say Baslenka season-ending injury. No. We didn't get a season ender we didn't get a significant injury last week, so we're off the hook. The streak of injuries is over. The next controversy for Geelong is that we recruit Zach Butters. We recruit Zach Butters, and nobody likes that. That's the next one. So, Red Roger, there's your question answered. Secomkin says, out of these three players, one of them might not be at Geelong in 2027. Close, SDK and Stevens might be gone or traded out. SDK is going nowhere. If we get our say, Brad Close is not going anywhere. Georgie Stevens isn't going anywhere either. That leaves Brad Close. Sorry for ignoring your question before, or missing your question before, Red Roger. Oh! Georgie Boardlaw. Take a tour of Toby Green's new farm. I mean, I hope Georgie decides to stay as well. I just hope that we keep him. Like, I think that's the thing. I hope we keep him. The other club with the concussion letter is reported to be Sydney, says Shadu. Is that another big footy one? Or is there something in the media starting to pop up? Oh, well, the two love children of the AFL, Sydney and Geelong. Oh, beautiful tackle, LDU. Oh, Discord. In our Discord. Well done, Caleb Daniel. They're playing some really good football, but they're just not getting past that wing forward line at the moment. They are defending really well. Look at McKercher go. Good mark. LDU's popping up everywhere. He's a machine at the moment. He's a beast, Georgie Wardlaw. Oh, should do if you got the link, yeah, just archive it and then just drop it in the chat. Come on, North. Ooh. Bounce. Oh, beautiful. No, then it went to shit. Like, there's the talent for North. They've just got to find a way to bottle it and develop composure. I say that as Bont nearly turns it over. Go Time AFL says, surely Trembath won't get the rock spot over Edwards in the... No, he won't. No chance. Absolutely no chance. Too much space. Too much space. Oi! Ball! That's holding the ball. He took him on and got stripped of it. Wild umpire. Also, fuck Cody Waitman. 2 holding the ball calls that should have been... Oh, there's the archive link. Georgie Wardlaw. There we go. Yeah, the Herald Sun can reveal that a similar agreement was signed by a Sydney player in order for him to return to football in the VFL several years ago. Sydney confirmed that AFLPA had oversight of that agreement. The player was not subject to the same stringent rules as part of the league's collective bargaining agreement due to the fact he was playing VFL. Right, okay. But some sources have still raised health and safety implications. The agreement ceased when the player joined Sydney's AFL list. Right. That's a very specific use case. Like, I don't know who that is, but specifically playing VFL and then elevated to their AFL list. Thomas, good night. Thank you for your support of the show, the super chats, all of it. It's much appreciated. Was Paddy McCartan playing VFL and then got re-elevated? And that goes back a fair bit of time then, because that was, pre-2022, right? No. They both brothers played in that losing 22 to us. It was the year after. Shees will do something. Just standing off the contest a bit too much. Oh! Update the ladder predictor for the draw. Nah, put it across the face. Out on the full. Let me have a look at the ladder predictor in the event of a draw, just to appease Ben. It's a draw. If it's a draw, no change. North doesn't make it. Bulldogs don't. They're going to be wedged in the middle on 56 points or 52 points, regardless. Collingwood will be 50. Melbourne will be 60. I scrolled away for 20 seconds. All of a sudden, North's having a shot on goal. What? Oh! The desperation from North is absolutely unreal. Oh, that's holding the ball. He pulled that in. So where's Tim English with his knee or whatever? Oh, yeah, there he is, going down the race. Oh, it nearly... Oh. Go Time says he's made of glass. Is Tim English. It's fair. Goes down for everything. Oh. Good kick. Oh, an even better mark. Come on, finish the game. Finish him. Come on, North. That's over. Oh, wait. No, sorry. It got back to 12, so... 3 even. Surely. Surely it's over. Brutality. Oh, man. Bont to do some Bont things, says Freezer Stock. Like, I'm happy for them now, but it makes me a bit anxious for next week all of a sudden. They're playing good footy. You know who'd be good for Paul Curtis next week? Jed Buse. Fuck. How many times do I have to lob for this bloke? Lasso. No, stayed in. Until it didn't. What? Oshin on Paul Curtis. Yeah, who do you put Osh on? Is it LDU? Is it Harry Sheasel? Ugh. They're home now. The Yawn James show, yeah, mate. Yeah, which team was Simpkin trying to go to last year? I don't remember. Freezer Stock, that's a... did he nominate a club, or was it just that he said he wanted to go? Sheasel to Mullen. Sheasel's got to try and stop Osheen Mullen. And O'Connor to LDU, maybe. Yeah? And Axe can just go head-to-head with Wardlaw. Oh, good. Congrats, North. Oh, it was Collingwood. Actually, yeah, that sounds right. Shadu asks, Bevo, is there a more overrated lump in a head coaching position? Yes. Sorry, no. There's no one else. He's a dud. Kanga. I would love to see Stevens on Wardlaw, see where Stevens is at. That'd be great. Caleb Daniel is not kicking for goal right now. Come on, finish it off, Lukey. Oh, he's nailed it. He's absolutely nailed it. Look at that celebration. That's good shit. Join in the chorus. Yeah, Sarah, I'm with you. Makes me a bit anxious about playing North, but for right now, to endure you and me. Anyway. Good shit, North. North by 23 points. I tipped the Dogs by 37 points tonight, so that's a big turn on my footy tips. I need to see if that's just caused me to slip from second to third, or whether someone... Yeah, I don't know. That hasn't quite updated yet. Leaderboard. No. Wait. That's not up to date. It's not up to date yet. All right. Yeah, we'll see. I tipped the Dogs by 37. So that's a 50-point swing. I don't know. Everyone tipped the Dogs around me, so it's not going to be ridiculous. But I was holding on to second by a margin of 4. So it's probably unlikely that I've held on to second. Anyway. Yeah, go time. I probably should have tipped Dogs by 10. That would have been far better for me, I reckon. But anyway. I doubt the person below me tipped him by more than 37. So I've probably slipped back a little bit this one. Need to get him with some wins and losses. The Hawks and the Lions might be the big one. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. But that's all tomorrow night. And that is the end of this show for tonight. I've still got to record a video about today's drama and the preview. So I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you all for having checked out the show tonight. It's been a pleasure to get to chat as always. And until next time, here's our run of show for the week. You've got the twos tomorrow. You've also got my reaction to the news of today. You'll have the preview going up tomorrow as well. It's a big day for content on the Hoops Crew on Friday. Saturday, of course, you'll have post-game live. Sunday, the match reaction. Monday, the chaps will be back doing their thing. Wednesday, Ben is back with Show Us Your Tips. Thursday, the Paul James Show, leading into a new round of football. Thank you all for checking this one out. Thank you everyone who has dropped super chats tonight. Thank you. It's been crazy the amount of support. Have really, really appreciated that. It is huge for our platform. It is huge for my ability to go buy Vicks vapor snuffer things, and my ability to get well as a result. But more importantly, like it really does help the support of the Hoops Crew. So thank you to Horatio, Shadoo ×2, Red Roger, Freezer Stock. Oh, Horatio ×2, sorry. Simon, who dropped super chat. Thomas, who dropped 2 super chats. You're amazing. Thank you, all of you. And we really, really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. It does help grow this platform. We're incredibly appreciative. And Freezer Stock will kick you the fuck out of here if you pull that stunt again. Ben learnt his lesson last week after making hair jokes. All right, that's where we'll wrap things up. That was the schedule for the coming week. Thank you all very much for watching. Remain Geelong strong. Cats by, what did I say? 80 points against the Bombers this week. Cats by 80. Thanks all for watching, and I will see you later.